Hello once again, sports fans, and welcome to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio and presented as always by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Labor's Local 663, Great Southern Bank, Doak Propane, and the Bank of Billings. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Well, I'll tell you what, here on Friday Night Live, the high school football scoreboard show, we've got a lot of games still going on, and we've got a lot of exciting games that are going on as well. Just gone final. Now, Marionville hangs on to beat Central 18-13. Other finals, and you can always go to scoreboardguy.net, look up the scores, or you can tweet them at me if I don't have them. We'll run through Twitter here first. As I mentioned, Marionville 18-13 over Springfield Central. St. Pius hangs on and beats Maryville 34-27. And a final as Carthage has defeated Carl Junction 48-12. Elsewhere, with 11:20 remaining in the fourth quarter, Marshfield leads Monette 34-17. And I tell you what, the game down in the Big Eight between Seneca and Lamar has been all it's cracked up to be. And just gone final. Seneca has defeated Lamar 36-33. We'll kind of tell you how that went down here as we can look up kind of the history on that. But with the game on the line, Lamar stopped a Seneca drive, and then Lamar went down and punched in a touchdown. And that put them up 33-28 with 2:33 remaining in the contest. And then with 56 seconds remaining in the contest, Lamar gets called for a pass interference on fourth down. Seneca gets another opportunity, and they throw a touchdown pass and get the 2-point conversion with 56 seconds remaining, and then Lamar unable to get it in the end zone. So that has gone final as Seneca knocks off Lamar, and both of them state ranked. Elsewhere, just gone final in Mount Vernon as Rogersville defeats Mount Vernon 26-8. So we'll run through the scores that we have at this time. First, from Thursday night's game, Agape defeats Missouri Military Academy 30-26. It was Jennings over Riverview Gardens 41-6. Elsewhere finals tonight that we do have an 8-man football. Lockwood defeats Greenfield 59-12. Bishop LeBlond over St. Joe Christian 66-12. Page 2. Crystal City defeats Confluence Prep 42-0. Harrisburg over Paris 36-0. Mid Buchanan shuts out Lathrop 35-0. Monroe City over South Shelby 46-8. Elsewhere it was St. Dominic over Grandview 42-6. Thayer defeats Salem 28-6. Bowling Green over Van Far 64-6. Page 3. Mentioned the Seneca Lamar final. Elsewhere, Stratford shuts out Clever 57-0. It was Live for Life over TDW Prep 13-0. As we move into page 4, Lutheran North over Westminster Christian 73-0. It was a Mexico over Marshall 35-14. Liberty defeats Roosevelt 63-8. Carthage over Carl Junction, we mentioned that final. Here on page 6, Camdenton defeats Parkview 65-6. It was CBC over Chaminade 56-7. DeSmet defeats Vianney 56-7. Games coming up tomorrow. Windsor will be at Bishop DeBerg. Lebanon will be at Bolivar. at SBU, I should say, taking on Bolivar. It'll be Soldan at Gateway, Afton at Hazelwood East, McClure North at Hazelwood West, Marceline at Hogan Prep, Lutheran South at John Burroughs, Pattonsburg will be at King City, Priory is at MICDS, University City is at Normandy, Father Tolton is at Principia. Hayti will take on Quincy Notre Dame out of Illinois. If you have athletes of the week, and there'll be several tonight, if you have a nomination, send us an email at MissouriSportsNetwork@gmail.com. It's MissouriSportsNetwork@gmail.com. We're going to take a time out here and hear from one of our sponsors here. It is the Cottages at Fairhaven.
Welcome to the Cottages at Fairhaven Cove. This resort spans 12 acres on a quiet cove on Table Rock Lake. You will feel right at home in one of the newly renovated cottages. Options include studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom units. These units have been beautifully redone from floor to ceiling and offer both comfort and style. Each cottage has a fully functional kitchen, deck, or balcony with incredible lake view and outdoor entertainment area complete with a grill. Whether a couple or family, the perfect space awaits you. RV parking at Fairhaven Cove is now available to all guests as well. This is an ideal spot for a weekend getaway or family reunions. 4 full hookup RV parking sites are offered. Each site is complete with a picnic table, grill, Wi-Fi, and digital TV upon request. All guests have access to the numerous amenities that Fairhaven Cove offers. 2 boat docks are available for use. You can take a dip in the lake, fish, or house your boat. Cape Fear, Missouri is not only a great location for boating and water sports, but is also known as the bass capital of the world. The calm waters of the cove is the perfect place to have your next adventure. The resort offers kayak and paddleboard rentals to guests. Life vests are always included. There is a playground for kids to enjoy and hiking trails to explore. An in-ground pool is sure to make a splash with guests of all ages. And what better way to end the day than around a fire? A large fire pit is available for s'mores, fun, and memories. These amenities and more will be sure to entertain you and your family. The Cottages of Fairhaven is on the quiet side of the lake, near Cape Fear Marina and Flat Creek Restaurant. A short drive will take you to Silver Dollar City, Branson Landing, the show boat Branson Bell, abundant shopping, shows, museums, and some of the best golf in the Midwest. Reach out to your host today to book your next vacation.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Finals continue to roll in here. An 8-man football. Drexel defeats Jasper 64-22. And final score from Cal Hubbard Field. Milan Wildcats 34, Princeton Tigers 14. Wildcats play at Trenton next week. And a final from Forsyth as Forsyth hangs on and defeats Fairgrove 45-44. So big win there for Forsyth and their young program, getting a win over Fairgrove. Elsewhere, it's a final as Thayer defeats Salem 28-6. We mentioned Carthage 48-12 over Carl Junction. Rogersville over Mount Vernon 26-8. Seneca defeats Lamar 36-33. Marionville over Central 18-13. And a final up north, St. Pius defeats Maryville 34-27. And you're watching and listening to Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network. Marshfield at last report was up 34-17 on Monette. That game has got to be late in the fourth quarter there. 48-17. Final, Nixa defeats Branson 56-17. Nixa now 4-0. Heading into its showdown next week with Joplin, who at last report was defeating Webb City. Final is Central defeats Cape Central 41-20. And a final, Park Hills over Cape Central. Central Park Hills 41, Cape Central 20. Same score, just two different ways to write it down. Joplin at last report was up 24-8 on Webb City. Webb City led early as they got a safety early in that contest. Camdenton 65-6 over Parkview. That game has gone final. At the end of the third quarter, in Republic, it was Republic 49, Neosho 27. Gallatin late in the fourth quarter leads Polo 46-8. That was 28 minutes ago that I got that report. There's a final from Podger Field at Kickapoo High School's Kickapoo defeats Waynesville 35-8. Elsewhere, Lockwood in 8-man football defeats Greenfield 59-12. And Gallatin at the end of 3 was on top of Polo 39-8. Let's refresh this page here and see if we can get any more finals that are coming in. A lot of games still going on at last report. St. Pius, the 10th, defeats Jefferson out of Festus 27-12. Send them to me at Scoreboard Guy on Twitter, just a direct message, or just include me in the tweet, and that'll pop up on a different page. And we have a final, another surprise, as McDonald County defeats Nevada 27-26. So lots of movement there in that Big 8 conference where you kind of felt like coming into it. It was Nevada and Lamar. And you had a Mount Vernon team start 3-0. They lose tonight to Rogersville and get Lamar going to Seneca and falling there. And then McDonald County knocks off Nevada, state-ranked Class 4 in Nevada. McDonald County Class 4 as well. Drexel over Jasper 64-22. Those are the finals that we have at this time. We'll go back to scoreboardguide.net here, and we'll check out. We'll just run through the scores for those of you just now getting in your cars and tuning in here. From Thursday night's games, it was Agape over Missouri Military Academy 30-26. Jennings defeats Riverview Gardens 41-6. Tonight's games in 8-man football, Lockwood over Greenfield 59-12. Bishop LeBlanc defeats St. Joe Christian 66-12. In Class 1, Crystal City over Confluence Prep 42-0. Harrisburg defeats Paris 36-0. It was Mid Buchanan shutting out Lathrop 35-0. Monroe City over South Shelby 46-8. Brentwood shuts out Orchard Farm 6-0. Salisbury over Scotland County 48-7. St. Dominic defeats Grandview 42-6. Thayer over Salem 28-6. Bowling Green 64, Van Far 6. Continuing on here to page 2, our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks sponsor page 2. Excuse me. They sponsor page 2 and our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athletes of the Week. If you have an Athlete of the Week, send us an email, Missouri Sports Network @gmail.com. Mountain View Liberty shuts out Ava 32-0. Mountain View Liberty seems to be the real deal. A lot of Class 2 teams around here, around Southwest Missouri. And when you look at Lamar and even Seneca, I believe, dropped into Class 2 this year. That won't be today's meeting. Tonight's meeting will not be the last time that Seneca and Lamar see one another, I can assure you. And one of them may end up meeting Mountain View Liberty. Elsewhere, it was Herman over Cuba 62-22. Logan Rogersville defeats Mount Vernon 6-8. It was Seneca over Lamar 36-33. Stratford knocks off Clever 57-0. Live for Life 13. TW Prep 0. Elsewhere here on page 4, it was Park Hill Central 41 and Cape Central 20. Lutheran North over Westminster Christian 73-0. Mexico defeats Marshall 35-14. Liberty over Roosevelt 63-8. As I mentioned, Carthage defeats Carl Junction. Union over Pacific 52-14. Camdenton defeats Parkview 65-6. CBC over Chaminade 56-7. Kickapoo defeats Waynesville 35-8. Nixa over Branson 56-17. DeSmet 56, Vianney 0. Bentonville, Arkansas defeats Rockhurst 30-7. Games on the docket for Saturday, they will include Windsor at Bishop DeBerg. Lebanon is at Bolivar, actually at SBU versus Bolivar. Soldan is at Gateway. Afton at Hazelwood East. McClure North at Hazelwood West. Marceline at Hogan Prep. Lutheran South at John Burroughs. Pattonsburg will be at King City. Priory will be at MICDS, and University City will be at Normandy. Father Tolton takes on Principia, and Hayti travels to Quincy, Illinois, and takes on Quincy Notre Dame. Here's a word from our Chevy dealers.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. And find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network, where everyone has a home field advantage. We'll run down some of the finals. We'll get them off of our notifications here first as we go over to the scoreboard Twitter. And just running through some of them there. St. Pius X, 27. Jefferson Festus, 12. Final, McDonald County over Nevada, 27-26. Drexel defeats Jasper 64-22. Final score at Milan defeats Princeton 34-14. And Forsyth hangs on, and they defeat Fairgrove 45-44. They are over Salem 28-6. Rogersville defeats Mount Vernon in a Big 8 clash 26-8. And Seneca over Lamar 36-33. Marionville hangs on and beats Central 18-13. St. Pius over Maryville 34-27. Carthage defeats Carl Junction 48-12. Elsewhere, let's check on that Marshfield Monette score, and 34-17 in the fourth quarter. And that was 25 minutes ago. There's 11 minutes remaining in the quarter, so that game may still be going on here at 9:50 on a Friday night. Going back and looking up some of the other later updates. Nixa over Branson, 56-17. And at last report, and this was a half an hour ago, Joplin was on top of Webb City, 24-8. Let's see if we can as well. Joplin's defeated Webb City each of the last two seasons. And that was the last score that we had. We can open up our chats here. If you guys want to comment, you can go to Facebook, look up our Missouri Sports Network on Facebook, or you can go to Scoreboard Guy on Twitter, and you can come in, you can chat, and they'll show up right here on this screen. If you're watching, if you're just listening, then I'll read those chats, but you can go right there. The chat box has been enabled. Let's see here. We do have someone asking for a Lamar score, and the final was 36-33. Seneca defeats Lamar. So we have answered that question. We'll go back and just read through some come in here. We mentioned Forsyth over Grove 45-44. Game there. Logan Rogersville. We mentioned they defeat Mount Vernon. Let's see. Rockwood Summit over Parkway North, 37-26. Final is Knox County. Stanberry defeats Knox County 72-38. Braxton McCurran had 6 catches for 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. Colin Hayes, quarterback, went over 300 yards passing. Thayer over Salem 28-6. And with 10:28 remaining in the fourth quarter, Hillsboro is on top of North County 24-10. And just another update. Here, Albert Pujols has hit number 698 tonight. So 698, 2 left to go to get to that magic number 700. Final scores: North Shelby over Schuyler County 46-24. Harrisburg defeats Paris 36-0. Harrisburg goes to 3-1 on the season, 2-1 in the conference. We mentioned DeSmet wins their home opener over Vianney 56-7. 24-8 now. Joplin on top of City. That was from 40 minutes ago. Well, that was with 4:28 remaining in the quarter. That game it is a final. Joplin defeats Webb City 24-8. And now they will face the Nixa Eagles. See here, we got stats coming in. Bennett Dahl ends up with an interception there with 2:07 remaining, and that kind of sealed the deal there for Joplin as they defeat Webb City 24-8. Other finals, Ekman, 58-7 win as they will be in action next Friday night on the banks of the Merrimack. They will take on Fox High School. So Seckman now, I believe, 4-0, and they are state ranked as well. Bishop LeBlanc defeats St. Joseph 66-12. Marionville over Central 18-13, and we mentioned that score earlier. Yeah, as I mentioned, you got me at 417-327-6914, or you can just send it to @ScoreboardGuy on Twitter, and we'll make sure that we get it up. And you can comment, as always, if you go to the stream. You can comment, as always, right here. We are hunting here some 8-man footballs from the GRC. Bishop LeBlanc 66-12 over St. Joe Christian. Albany 36-24 over Worth County. Stanberry knocks off Knox County 72-38. Pattonsburg at King City will be played tomorrow. Maysville defeats South Harrison 27-6. Gallatin over Polo 46-8. Trenton defeats Putnam County 42-20. And Milan over Princeton 34-14. We've reached out to some coaches here. We hope to get some responses here from the coaches. And I know folks are just now probably getting wound down as they've had games. Just some of the games have not gone final yet. So we will continue to be updating those. And while we're doing that, we had an opportunity to catch up with CBC running back Ralph Dixon earlier this week. He was a Chevy Dealers Ozarks Athlete of the Week. We heard from him a little bit on the High School Game Day. You can go to High School Game Day as you go to Missouri Sports Network on Facebook or YouTube. And you can see from earlier today. We usually air those right at 5 o'clock. We get folks from around the area. We had some guys on today, including Errol Austin Jr., Deion Cleso from PrepsKC.com was on with us. And our GRC gentleman who he takes care of a lot of the stuff out of that St. Joe area and with regards to the GRC conference, which is a conference that's split in two with an 11-man division and an 8-man division right there. But he was kind enough to join us as well, so you can go back and watch that. But here's a little bit of our interview, or here's our entire interview with our athlete of the week from CBC High School, Ralph Dixon.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. And find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Hey, welcome back to Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Guy Newcomb, the scoreboard guy, coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio here on the Missouri Sports Network and sponsored by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Stoke Propane, Great Southern Bank, the Bank of Billings located in Billings, Missouri, and Marionville for your banking needs. Labor's Union, Labor's Local 663 sponsors the show as well. And here in our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week segment, we go to Christian Brothers College High School in St. Louis, Missouri, and CBC head football coach Scott Pingle. Coach Pingle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having us. I know Ralph and I are both super excited to be with you today.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, Ralph had a big week this past week, but just as the season has gone on, you guys 2-1 on the season. Tell us a little bit about the season up to this point from your standpoint.
You know, we knew our first 3 games were going to be awesome. We played in 3 different states in 3 different weeks. We opened up in Canton, Ohio, playing at the Hall of Fame Classic. We got to play in the Hall of Fame Stadium. It was awesome. We played a team out of Georgia, and we came away with a nice victory, 41-27. Then we traveled over to East St. Louis over in Illinois, and, you know, they kind of got our number, and they handed us our first loss. And then this past week we played our big rival here in St. Louis, St. Louis U High, and it was atmosphere was awesome. The crowd was great, and our guys performed really well.
That trip you took up to play up at Canton, you understand you guys, did you practice at Ohio State?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those. Yeah, we got to practice at Ohio State, and then you know, we had a couple guys go there through the year, so they're kind of good to you if you can send us some players. So we had got to go up there, practice for about an hour and a half. Guys got to see a little bit of what college football facilities look like, and you know, it got to open their eyes a little bit. It was exciting for sure.
Yeah, and just a little bit on your background, Coach Pingle. How long have you been there at CBC? Where'd you go to high school, college, and how'd you arrive at CBC?
Yeah, I'm in my 18th year of education here at CBC, 15th year as the head coach. I came here in 2005 as an assistant under Bob Shannon, and then I got the head job in 2008 season. I came here from a small I played Division III college football up at Westminster College. I graduated high school from St. Vincent in Perryville, Missouri, so I've been kind of all over a little bit of the state. And I've been living in St. Louis now for quite a while and been here for, like I said, 18 years, and I love every minute of it.
Outstanding. One of our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week. Ralph went 7 rushes for 148 yards and 4 touchdowns. Tell us a little bit about his performance as you viewed it from the sideline.
Ralph was one of those guys. So what people may or may not know about us, we got 3 dynamic running backs, and Ralph's just one of the trio that at any point we can give the ball at any time. And the coolest thing about Ralph is he's always ready. He always knows his assignment. And, you know, I look like the idiot for only giving him the ball 7 times, but, you know, his production speaks for itself. We had some quick hitting traps. And the thing that Ralph does really well that I think a lot of running backs can learn by watching him is he sees daylight and he hits it. He doesn't try to make it any bigger than it needs to be. He sees daylight and he goes. He gets through the crack, and then he's explosive on the end. I mean, he was pulling away from some state championship sprinters this weekend and did a great job.
Ralph, first, congratulations on behalf of Chevrolet and the Missouri Sports Network for being Athlete of the Week. Tell us a little bit about your performance from you. Did you realize in that limited carries that you had piled up that many yards?
At first I was, you know, you just got to stick to it. It started off slow for me. And I just kept telling myself, one's gonna break free, one's gonna break free, and having all five of my O linemen return, we have that special connection. So I just knew like once it got going, it was gonna take off. So uh, when I first um, I had a screenplay, and my screenplay really it really just opened up. Bryce Parsons really he was my personal bodyguard running down the field, and my blast play, my third touchdown. Like you said, it's three of us, and we got each other back, and Dylan Van had a great block, and it didn't look dangerous, but if you're just a special running back, any play is dangerous. So just take that one to the house, and that trap play. I was just I thought one of their players was gonna catch me because he's a very fast player, but I just broke off and scored.
As you're in the huddle and the plays come in, or whether they're signaled in or they're called in or ran in from the sideline, do you have, and I don't want to know what they are, but do you have a couple of like of maybe your favorite plays? I mean, do you
uh,
have a play that you really kind of eyes light up when it gets called?
when one of my O line guys like pulling, if they're pulling, I feel very protected, and just any play that they're pulling, that's one of my favorite plays.
Going back, into your freshman year, tell us a little bit about your history. Have you always played the running back position, or is this newer for you? What's been your history with this position?
I always played the running back position. Coming here, they gave me a lot of heat and a lot of motivation because I'm an undersized player, and so it just made me want to like work hard and prove a lot of people wrong. So throughout the years, I just kept working and waiting my turn, and when I got my opportunity, I took advantage of it.
As you look back as an underclassman, were there upperclassmen that kind of helped you, kind of mold you, that kind of brought you along? Were there folks you looked up to?
Uh, when I was, sophomore, freshman, Jordan Clay, one of the running backs that came before me, he really helped all three of us, and especially me, like telling me the plays and what to do. Um, last year, even like Aiden and Pat, they just really like helped us, like lead us, and took advantage of everything and really tried to help guide us to just be great football players.
And right now at this point in the season, you're just 3 games in, but you've
Yeah.
played some outstanding competition. Coach Pingle talked about playing in 3 different states. You got your rivalry game this past week against SLU. At this point of the season, what do you feel like you're doing really well right now? Is it seeing the holes? Is it being able to just jump on somebody's back or get in their back pocket and follow them? What does that look like? How do you what do you think you're doing really well right now?
Overall, like O line and running, but we just run the ball really well. We knew that we are gonna have to have probably like a big load this year, and we're just taking advantage of every opportunity that we can get. Going into like later in the season, I know it's like but like towards the playoffs, like we really need that run game to be very efficient. So we're just getting to that groove right now.
And Ralph, and again, we're visiting with our Chevrolet Athlete of the Week, Ralph Dixon, a senior running back from uh, Christian Brothers College High School in St. Louis. And Ralph, if you could go back to 2018, to that freshman Ralph Dixon, what advice would you give him? Knowing what you know now, what advice would you go back and give yourself as a freshman?
Just stay patient. Your time's gonna come. Don't get in your head too much. They built something here that you can't rush, or like you're not gonna change by yourself. So just buy in and just be patient, and just be yourself. When you get the ball, prove everybody wrong.
Very good. Now you've got Chaminade coming up this week. What do you know about Chaminade, and what are some goals that you have going into this contest?
They're searching for a win. They're hungry right now. So we just can't buy into that. We can't play at that level. We just gotta play CBC football, and you know do what we do best. And I just have to do my job, take advantage of all my opportunities, and just be special.
Very good. Well, Ralph, again, it's been a pleasure. Got to watch a little bit of that game, and here at the Missouri Sports Network, so many times on Friday nights, it's pretty hectic because I'll get 8 or 9 thousand text messages at Scoreboard Guy, throughout the evening. But I did get to watch, and again, on behalf of Chevrolet and the Missouri Sports Network, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Coach Pingle, I really appreciate you setting this up. I know this is real short notice. We just talked about an hour ago about this, and so this happened. This happened really quick. But from a coach's standpoint, going into you've been in 3 states, and you're going to have back-to-back games at home. Are you guys relatively healthy going into this game with Chaminade? And what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, well, we're pretty healthy right now. We got a couple bang ups. That's what happens when you kind of play these tough schedules. You know that those first 3 weeks, it's kind of feeling out who you are, what you're about. And we got a couple guys that are they're getting mended in the training room, but we should have everybody healthy. I'm looking for execution. That's been the big thing. We've had moments of our execution has been very high, but our poor execution has been very bad. So, I know there's going to be ebbs and flows of games, but I don't want those bads to be as bad as they've been. I kind of want to make sure that, okay, doggone it, that was a bad play, but we still gained 3 yards. That's the message. We're a team that usually doesn't have negative plays, and we've had too many negative plays in the first 3 games.
Very good. Coach, again, thank you so much. Ralph, congratulations, gentlemen. Hey, tremendous luck as you go forward, and hopefully we'll get to sit down and talk a little CBC cadet football again throughout the season.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You bet. You're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio. Keep it right here. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com. Folks can go on chat here with us right now. We do have someone here who has chatted with us. Let me get the logo out of the way there. We've got the Chevy Leaders logo up on the site. And last you'd heard, Buffalo over Skyline 58-33 with 4 minutes to go. And Ed is still checking for a final score. We appreciate him being involved here. And I believe he checks in with us off of our YouTube page. Good to check in with and catch up with Coach Pingle and our Chevy Leaders of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week this week on the male side from Christian Brothers College High School in St. Louis, Ralph Dixon. 7 carries, 174 yards, and 4 touchdowns in that game a week ago. And they get a win tonight as well. But checking on the scoreboard here, we'll go through the updated scores that we have at this time. You can send us, and the final was 64-39. Buffalo over Skyline. So they do win. Buffalo hangs on 64-39. That is the final. Thursday games, Agape over Missouri Military Academy 30-26. Jennings defeats Riverview Gardens 41-6. Friday night games here on an 8-man football with Worth County over Albany 34-14. St. Paul Lutheran over Concordia 58-20. Lockwood defeats Greenfield 59-12. Elsewhere in 8-man football, it was Stanberry over Knox County 72-38. Santa Fe defeats Norberg 38-26. North Shelby over Schuyler County 74-30. And Bishop LeBlond over St. Joe Christian 66-12. Sweet Springs defeats Northwest 50-18. Again, coming to you live from our Pizza Ranch studio. Pizza Ranch Springfield, Pizza Ranch St. Joe, Pizza Ranch Independence, Branson, Joplin, Wentzville, and Maryville. And I've been to every one of them. And we'll be heading back up to St. Joe probably in the next couple of weeks to do a quarterback club there in St. Joe. Pizza Ranch Springfield hosts our quarterback club, Springfield area schools, every Monday at 11:30. You want to be a part of it? Come by. It's $10.80. It's all you can eat. Hear from the coaches from the Springfield area and surrounding areas. And on occasion, we'll get a college coach. And actually, we've had a college coach there every week. Evangel has been represented every week by their head football coach. And we certainly appreciate him being a part of the festivities. So once again, that final from Buffalo is Buffalo over Skyline 64-39. Other finals, Marionville, as they defeat Springfield Central 18-13. Maryville, Class 1 state ranked, and they've got an opportunity to do some damage. Thayer, who has typically been the team between Marionville or Skyline over the past few years to get to that next round. They've always had to deal with Thayer. Thayer's down a little bit this year. They do get a win tonight, and we'll get to that score as well. But elsewhere, here on page 1, Charleston over Kelly 20-14. Crystal City defeats Confluence Prep 42-0. Diamond over Miller 38-22 was Gallatin over Polo 46-8. Harrisburg defeats Paris 36-0. Mid Buchanan 35-0 over Lathrop. It was Maysville defeating South Harrison 27-6. Milan over Princeton 34-14. Monroe City defeats South Shelby 46-8. Mark Twain over Montgomery County 50-18. Brentwood over Orchard Farm 6-0. Trenton defeats Putnam County 42-20. Salisbury over Scotland County 48-7. Still looking for a Warsaw Sherwood score. Wright City over South Callaway 40-24. St. Dominic over Grandview 42-6. We're missing Herculaneum and St. Vincent and Sarcoxy at Stockton. Thayer over Salem 28-6. Bowling Green defeats Van Far 64-6. West Platte over Plattsburgh 48-0. Mountain View Liberty, who is for real in Class 2, defeats Ava 32-0. Blair Oaks over California 52-14. And you look at that Class 2, you would have thought going into tonight that Lamar was the class of Class 2, so to speak. And they probably are among those to be considered. But now you've got Seneca. You've always had Blair Oaks in that picture with what they've done, and their quarterback has had a tremendous career. Ted LePage, their head coach, had been at Jeff City, I believe, for a while before taking over at Blair Oaks. But they defeat California 52-14. Blair Oaks, I believe last year in their state quarterfinal game, I think Dylan Hare went down in that contest and just unable to return. So but you got to look at that, in that Class 2. And now you've got to put Liberty. So you've got Blair Oaks, Mountain View Liberty, Seneca, and Lamar, and they're all going to match up with one another probably before they get to the state championship game. Elsewhere was Cassville over East Newton 35-0. Forsyth defeats Fair Grove 45-44. Herman over Cuba 62-22. Mountain Grove over Willow Springs 50-6. Logan Rogersville defeats Mount Vernon 26-8. Still looking for final from Macon and Palmyra. Looking final, Marshfield over Monette 34-24. Final is Diamond defeats Miller 38-22. Rittenhour over Fox 34-20. That has gone final as well. As I said, you can message us right here at YouTube or Facebook, or right on Scoreboard Guy on Twitter. The chat box is up, and you can see some of the chats that are already there. Ed helping us out a little bit there early. It was Mountain Grove over Willow Springs 50-6. Seneca defeats Lamar 36-33. Buffalo over Skyline 64-39. Here on page 6, as Kickapoo gets a big win. Kickapoo gets a big win over Waynesville, and to that end, we bring in Kickapoo head coach Nate Thomas. Coach Thomas, thanks for your time today.
Guy, thanks for having me on.
Coach, get a big win over Waynesville tonight. Tell us a little bit about the contest.
Just out and after 2 tough weeks, between playing Camdenton and two ends of the spectrum. So to come off of 2 tough games like that, come out and perform senior night, I was just very proud of our guys in all 3 phases of the football game.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the young men who stood out for you tonight on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball.
Cale McCarville had a big game for us in the slot. We were going to see a bunch of man coverage in the slot, and he got loose. Sam Johnson was our other slot. He was the one that scored our first touchdown from about 50. Kylan did a great job of distributing the ball and getting the ball out to our playmakers. Sean Campbell ended up having a rushing touchdown from receiver, and then he had about an 88-yard kickoff return for a touchdown to start the second half. So defense was kind of bend but don't break all night. They just I tell you what, I was really impressed with Waynesville. They have a system that they kind of believe in. They're physical and just a much came out and kind of gave us some fits early.
You know, as you look at the Ozark Conference, half the members of the conference are either state ranked or getting votes, you know, in state rankings. You've kind of went through that gauntlet of Camdenton and Lebanon. You still got West Plains, I believe, out in front of you. Did you come out of tonight's game relatively healthy?
We did. We lost 1 years. Went down with a concussion in the second half or in the second quarter. Not anything crazy serious concussion wise. He just got dinged. Him back here fairly soon. So, but other than that, we've come out. Samias Pickett out tonight. Rolled his ankle pretty good last week at Lebanon. Game time decision went through kind of pre-game and decided to hold him out tonight. He's pretty important to our defensive side of the ball and in our back half. So we should be about at full pull heading into Parkview next week.
Yeah, you go into Parkview next week. What challenges have you got there in front of you? What are some things that you're going to have to do to come out on top in that game?
It's just, I mean, anytime you play Springfield School, up for any game against us, it's just it's a great schools right here in the same town, and you know, it's just like kind of you talked that in the OC is not very big. There's a bunch of really good football teams, and now that you've got to play your best football every Friday night in order to win. So, like we have the other 4 weeks leading up to this, we'll prepare the same way. Come in on Sunday, start trying to work to put a game plan together to Friday.
Coach, and again, we're visiting with Coach Nate Thomas, head football coach at Kickapoo. Coach, what are some things that you feel like you're doing really well right now you're almost midpoint of the season? What are some things you feel like you're doing well? And maybe what are some things that you feel like you need to kind of shore up as you go into the second half?
We've been really good in turnover takeaway margin. We've won that -1 tonight. We threw a pick. I kind of got greedy. Probably should have run them down in the red zone on an interception. And but we've been +7 in the takeaway turnover ratio. So we've won that battle. Talk to our kids about the kicking game, and we try to make a point we put our best kids out up, and it showed tonight. And our guys did a great job on that kickoff return that we need to fix. And I've done a poor job of it so far, and I need to do a better job. Just Chiefs not beating Chiefs. Just mental mistakes here, some extracurricular activity after the play. Just got to eliminate those. We've had this discussion as a team that we've got to fix that going forward because that'll end up costing you.
Very good. Well, Coach, As always, I really greatly appreciate you being generous with your time here on the Missouri Sports Network, and look forward to catching up with you again several more times throughout the season, and also at the Quarterback Club on Mondays at Pizza Ranch. But Coach, thanks so much.
All right, we'll see you at the club. So I appreciate having me on, guy.
All right, thanks, Coach. Coach Nate Thomas, kind enough to join us here. We've reached out to Marshfield, McDonald County, and Lebanon and Stratford. Lebanon does not play tonight, so Coach Will Christian maybe getting some much needed rest here before they make their way over here to Bolivar on the campus of SBU to take on Bolivar here tomorrow night at 7. What are your thoughts on here through the season? Some big games tonight, some surprise scores. The Seneca Lamar game, very much a surprise. Now those two teams are going to meet. I'm guessing somewhere down the road here, and we can look that up here at this next break. But they're going to meet down the road, and we'll look that up. We're going to take a quick timeout, let you hear from some of our sponsors. One being Country Financial. Country Financial sponsors our Team of the Week, which this week was Blair Oaks Volleyball. And if we have time, we might run that. But you can always go back through at MissouriSportsNetwork.com. You can look at the Missouri Sports Network on YouTube, on Facebook. All those interviews are right there. We've won over 5.5 million hits since we started 14 months ago. And couldn't do it without you. Couldn't do it without the coaches and the folks that make this happen. Certainly glad you tuned in. Now here's a little bit of word from Country Financial.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a time like this, in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and that care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's a lot better now.
It was like a huge weight lifted.
All right, welcome back here. We did happen to look that up, and both Lamar and Seneca are Class 2, but they are not in the same district. Amazingly enough, Seneca is in a district with Mount Vernon, and right now Mount Vernon sits atop that district at 301. Seneca being 4-0. Mount Vernon, though, being part of that Big 8, this is a season where they play all 4 of the Class 4 schools in the Big 8 Conference, one of them being tonight with regards to Logan Rogersville. So they get the 20 bonus points every time that they play up. So even though their record is 3-1, they are atop that district right now. It's Mount Vernon, Seneca, Forsyth, Hollister, East Newton, Springfield Catholic, and Clever. And if you look at the Lamar district, Lamar now, who is 3-1, you look at their district in Class 2, which is District 5. Their members are Fairgrove, Warsaw, Stockton, El Dorado Springs, Skyline, and Versailles. And right now, Lamar is atop that district, with Fairgrove being in second. Now, Fairgrove's loss tonight to Forsyth has not been figured into the district standings. Warsaw is 3-1 on the season as they get a win tonight over Sherwood, 26-6. So they were at Sherwood, and they do get the win there, 26-6. And we'll run through the scores here one more time. We've reached out to some other coaches. We got Cody Bull here, who is from Marshfield. going to try and join us here. We're working on getting that set up, and we're not having any luck. But we'll get it worked out. We'll get him the link right now. You can still comment if you go to Missouri Sports Network on Facebook or on YouTube. You can comment and leave your comments there. And maybe you've got a coach that you'd like for us to reach out to. We should be joined here at any time now by Marshfield's head football coach, Cody Bull. But let's run through the scores that we have at this time in the few minutes while we're waiting on him to join. From Thursday night scores, you had Agape over Missouri Military Academy, 30-26. Jennings defeats Riverview Gardens, 41-6. Games here in 8-man football from tonight. It was Worth County, 34-14 over Albany. St. Paul Lutheran defeats Concordia, 58-20. Lockwood over Greenfield, 59-12. Stanberry defeats Knox County, 72-38. Santa Fe over Norburn, 38-26. North Shelby defeats Schuyler County, 74-30. Bishop LeBlond over St. Joe Christian, 66-12. Sweet Springs defeats Northwest, 50-18. On page 2, Marionville holds off Springfield Central, 18-13. It was Charleston over Kelly, 20-14. Crystal City over Confluence Prep, 42-0. Diamond over Miller, 38-22. Gallatin defeats Polo, 46-8. Harrisburg over Paris, 36-0. Mid Buchanan over Lathrop, 35-0. Maysville over South Harrison, 27-6. Milan over Princeton, 34-14. Monroe City over South Shelby, 46-8. Mark Twain defeats Montgomery County, 50-18. It was Brentwood over Orchard Farm, 6-0. Trenton defeats Putnam County, 42-20. Salisbury over Scotland County, 48-7. Wright City over South Callaway, 40-24. St. Dominic over Grandview, 42-6. Thayer defeats Salem, 28-6. Bowling Green over Van Far, 64-6. West Platte over Plattsburgh. Excuse me. West Platte 48, Plattsburgh nothing. Page 3 brought to you by the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks. Our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks sponsor our male and female athletes of the week. If you've got a nomination, send us an email at MissouriSportsNetwork@gmail.com. Mountain View Liberty over Ava, 32-0. Blair Oaks over California, 52-14. Cashville defeats East Newton, 35-0. Forsyth over Fair Grove, 45-44. Herman over Cuba, 62-22. Mountain Grove, 50. Willow Springs, 6. Logan Rogers over Mount Vernon, 26-8. Seneca over Lamar, 36-33. Buffalo defeats Skyline, 64-39. Stratford over Clever, 57-0. Live for Life over TDW Prep, 13-0. Boonville over Southern Boone, 18-14. Park Hill Central, 41. Cape Central, 20. Lutheran North over Westminster Christian, 73-0. Mexico over Marshall, 35-17. Elsewhere was Marshfield over Monette in Big 8 action, 34-24. And to that end, we bring in Marshfield head football coach Cody Bull. Coach Bull, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good. How are you, guy?
I'm doing well, Coach. Get 34-24 over Monette. Tell us a little bit about the contest for the Jays tonight.
Yeah, thought our guys played really well. For the most part, we got a little sloppy and started feeling a little too comfortable, I think. So our young guys gave up. But, there's a lot of things we could tighten up. And we were just really happy to, way our guys executed the game plan.
Yeah, going into the game tonight, what were some of the keys, to get the Cubs stopped? What were you keying on tonight as you go into the game?
Yeah, it's really hard to simulate when you don't run it. So we knew we'd have to kind of weather an early storm, and we yards on the first drive, first possession, and found a way to knock her and run down and score. So defensively, Coach Holt had a great plan. Just get used to the speed of a team that runs that type of offense, on an actual Friday.
Yeah, who were some of the kids offensively and defensively, the young men that maybe stood out tonight for Marshfield?
Yeah, defensively, Jackson did linebacker, did a really good job filling on dive and scraping over the quarterback when he felt like Jagger Robinson played really well defensively. Brian Bull is our quarterback, but he's been playing defense, and he had a lot of tackles and big pass breakup, and he had a good night. Offensively, he for one. Davion Harris scored a touchdown, had a lot of really nice rush on all of our zone stuff. Marcus Gritz and Travis big catches for us, and Tyler Young had a good night. So, and then up front, Mason Millington, happy with him, was our left tackle. It's a team that was bringing a lot of edge pressure on pretty much every. Our guys up front did a really good job giving Bryant some time to find some guys, and we
Now, back-to-back wins now. You've evened your record now at 2-2. You're at Reed Springs next week. What are some things you're doing well right now as a team, and maybe what are some things that you need to work on?
We're starting to get in a rhythm on both sides of the ball. I feel like a couple weeks of the year, obviously we're playing real quality opponents, and that makes it difficult. But didn't feel like we were settled in. Our guys seemed a little hectic. They weren't. It was hard to call plays. It was hard to call defenses. It was just tough because we weren't sure that everybody's supposed to be. So they've done a really good job in practice the last couple of weeks. Getting themselves felt really good as a play caller. A lot better rhythm the last 2 weeks, and we can continue that. Reed Spring is our opponent next week, and they're obviously quality and athletes. And we're excited to head down there and play that game.
About halfway point here in the season. Are you as a team relatively healthy for being at this deep in the season?
We're banged up. We were missing a couple guys. We were missing one of our big receivers tonight, guys. But everybody has that stuff. We're trying to just let guys have an opportunity, give them a chance to make some plays, and we've had some guys do that. And we haven't lost any period, knock on wood, so far, but we do have some weekly bumps and bruises, and some of those keeping some guys out that will come back and be healthy here pretty shortly.
Well, outstanding. Well, Coach, I always appreciate being generous with your time here in the Missouri Sports Network. Congratulations on the win, and we'll let you go celebrate this one before you have to start preparing for the Wolves.
All right. Yeah.
You bet. Coach Cody Bull, he is the head coach at Marshfield. He's kind enough to join us here on the Missouri Sports Network, and they get a big win tonight, a conference win over Monette. And we'll open up the chat line again here, and we'll run through our scores that we have updated at this time here on the Missouri Sports Network. You go to scoreboardguy.net and get those scores as well. And you have West Plains. It has gone final. They defeat Rolla 28-7. And we'll just check back in here on while these pages are uploading. We have a lot of windows open. We've tried to limit that with our pages being open. We just don't have enough memory right now on our computer, but we're working on that as well. But so it takes a little bit for some of these things to update, and we will run through scores that maybe just come in. You got a final. Aurora shuts out Catholic 27-0. Rockwood Summit defeats Parkway North 44-32. Summit moves into 3-1 on the season. Russellville over Carrollton, 35-14. There, Drexel defeats Jasper, 64-22. Staley defeats Lee Summit West, 36-20. And we're still updating things of nature. But hey, Great Southern Bank, a sponsor of ours. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, member FDIC, and they care as much about your money as you do. And the Pizza Ranch, always here in the Pizza Ranch studio. You can see the logos, the Pizza Ranch Springfield logos behind the screen here. And we will go back into our captions here and our graphics. And while that's updating, we'll let you hear a little bit from Pizza Ranch.
Pizza Ranch serves buffet your way.
Don't you mean my way, Mr. Voiceover Guy?
Sure, anyone's way, actually. Request your favorite pizza. We'll make it, bake it, and give you the first slice.
I can add peppers to pepperoni, Stampede on stuffed crust, maybe Texan taco on thin. No tomatoes on my half. How can I convince Mom to let us eat here every night?
It's buffet your way at Pizza Ranch. Say it with me, kid.
Welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network here from the Pizza Ranch studio. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. Just a few minutes here remaining in the scoreboard show. We'll update the scores we have at this time. You can, once again, you can reach out and chat with us here. Go to Missouri Sports Network on YouTube. Go to Missouri Sports Network on Facebook or Scoreboard Guy on Twitter. You just type in a note and it'll pop up right here on the screen if you're looking for a score or we're looking for a score that you may have. We would certainly encourage you to reach out to us via chat or on Twitter. Special thanks to Nate Thomas of Kickapoo and Cody Bull from Marshfield being part of the show. We've reached out to Coach Hoover at McDonald County and Tim Hester at Stratford as well, and hopefully we can get them on before we wrap up tonight's show. But let's go through the scores that we have at this time. First from last night, brought to you by Central Bank of the Ozarks. Strong roots, endless possibilities. Last night, Agape defeats Missouri Military 30-26. It was Jennings over Riverview Gardens 41-6. Friday night games tonight's games in 8-man football was Worth County over Albany 34-14. St. Paul Lutheran defeats Concordia 58-20. It was Lockwood over Greenfield 59-12. Drexel defeats Jasper 64-22. Stanberry over Knox County 72-38. Santa Fe defeats Norburn 38-26. It was North Shelby over Schuyler County 74-30. Bishop LeBlanc 66, St. Joe Christian 12. Sweet Springs over Northwest 58-18. On page 2 was Wellington Napoleon being defeated by Adrian 28-6. Ash Grove over Pierce City 20-7. Centralia defeats Brookfield 42-8. It was Russellville over Carrollton 35-14. Kennett defeats Caruthersville 52-28. Marionville over Springfield Central 18-13. Charleston defeats Kelly 20-14. Crystal City over Confluence Prep 42-0. Was Midway over Crestridge 26-16. Diamond defeats Miller 38-22. Duchesne over Borgia 41-33. It was Gallatin defeating Polo 46-8. Harrisburg over Paris 36-0. St. Pius X over Jefferson 27-12. East Buchanan over Lathrop 33-7. Mid Buchanan over, well, it's got Mid Buchanan. I think that's Lawson 35-0. Cole Camp defeats Lone Jack 47-0. Maysville over South Harrison 27-6. Milan defeats Princeton 34-14. Monroe City over Shelby 46-8. Mark Twain defeats Montgomery County 50-18. North Callaway over Louisiana 30-12. North Platte over Penny, 25-24. Brentwood shuts out Orchard Farm, 6-0. Trenton over Putnam County, 42-20. Salisbury over Scotland County, 48-7. Warsaw defeats Sherwood, 26-6. Was Wright City over South Callaway, 40-24. St. Dominic defeats Grandview, 42-6. Thayer over Salem, 28-6. Tipton defeats Slater, 62-12. Bowling Green over Van Far, 64-6. West Platte over Plattsburgh, 48-0. Lincoln over Windsor, 24-0. Excuse me. On our Chevy Dealers page 3 was Mountain View Liberty. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks page 3 was Mountain View Liberty over Ava, 32-0. Blair Oaks defeats California, 52-14. Cashville over East Newton, 35-0. Herman defeats Cuba, 62-22. Reed Spring over Hollister, 34-14. Mountain Grove over Willow Springs, 50-6. Logan Rogersville over Mount Vernon, 26-8. It was Seneca over Lamar, 36-33. Buffalo defeats Skyline, 64-39. Stratford shuts out Clever, 57-0. Lift for Life over TDW Prep, 13-0. Labor's Local 663 brings you page 4. Labor's Local 663, not only building Missouri, but building Missouri State University. And I tell you what, I got to go down to the Thursday Bearfest Village, and what an experience, but what a spread Labor's Local 663 puts on. That brisket and pulled pork, brats, and just for a donation to Victory Mission. So go check them out here, not tomorrow, but next Saturday. And speaking of tomorrow, we'll run through tomorrow's high school games. But a big college game tomorrow is Missouri State and Bobby Petrino travel back to Arkansas. That game at 7, I believe it's 7 o'clock. And we'll be watching and may even be there. We haven't decided yet, but we shall see. We've got tickets. We just don't know if we're going to use them or not. Benton over Kansas City Central, 63-0. Booneville over Southern Boone, 18-14. Park Hill Central, 41. Cape Central, 20. Cameron over Chillicothe, 42-0. Cardinal Ritter defeats Elias, 40-14. That was a much anticipated game there as well. St. Mary's and Lutheran St. Charles, we don't have a final from yet, but Lutheran North did defeat Westminster Christian, 73-0. It was Mexico over Marshall, 35-14. Odessa defeats Oak Grove, 57-43. Valley Catholic over Potosi. Liberty defeats Roosevelt, 63-8. St. Genevieve over Fredericktown, 44-6. St. Clair defeats Sullivan, 27-14. Saddle Ridge Golf and Country, located in Bolivar, Missouri, just outside of Bolivar. You want an exemplary golf experience? Hey, come play around it at Saddle Ridge Golf and Country. Memberships being going on right now. They've got a membership drive. Hey, be a part of it. Carthage over Carl Junction, 48-12. Carl Junction actually led that game 9-0 at one point. Center over Christ Prep, Kansas, 42-6. Harrisonville over Warrensburg, 28-24. Kearney defeats Excelsior Springs, 44-6. Marshfield over Monette, 34-24. Union defeats Pacific, 52-14. McDonald County, 27. Nevada, 26. Parkway West, 28. McClure, 8. Smithville bounces back. They had won 16 consecutive, including a state championship in Class 4 a year ago before losing to Kearney 20-19 last week. And they get back on the winning side, 54-6 over Ruskin. SLU defeats Vashon, 43-15. Page 6 brought to you by the Bank of Billings, established in 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County with locations in Billings and Marionville. Campbellton over Parkview, 65-6. Let's see. Coach has reached out to me, and we'll see if we can get Coach Hester on. And we will try. We're wearing a lot of hats. Actually, I'm just wearing one hat right now, but here in the studio, that's why the camera's off until the coaches come on, because I want everybody to see everything that's going on in here. You might Okay, it was Rittenhour over Fox 34-20. Francis Howell defeats Francis Howell North 56-14. Holt over Fort Zumwalt South 42-0. Timberland over Fort Zumwalt West 59-56. Green Valley defeats Platte County 24-14. It was Battle over Hickman 47-29. Jackson defeats Poplar Bluff 35-7. Joplin over Webb City 24-8. Kickapoo defeats Waynesville 35-8. Eureka over Marquette 35-28. Seckman defeats Melville 58-7. Nix over Branson 56-17. Ladue defeats Oakville 34-31. Rockbridge over Capital City 35-28. Parkway South 33. Webster Groves 10. Page 7. Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, member FDIC. DeSmet over Vianney 56-7. Lee Summit North defeats Lee Summit 38-16. Liberty North over Park Hill South 34-14. Pattonville hands Lindbergh their first loss of the season 29-17. Blue Springs South over Raypeck 52-34. That's a bit of a surprise. Their Blue Springs South had struggled in the past couple of years. They won the state title in 2015, but they're coming back into prominence now with an 18-point victory over Raypeg. Bentonville, Arkansas defeats Rockhurst 30-7. It was Staley over Lee Summit West 42-20. Your Saturday games: Windsor will be at Bishop DeBerg. Lebanon will be at SBU to take on Bolivar. Soldan will be at Gateway. Afton is at Hazelwood East. McClure North is at Hazelwood West. Marceline is at Hogan Prep. Lutheran South is at John Burroughs. Pattonsburg is at King City. Priory at MICDS. University City at Normandy. And Father Tolton is at Principia. Hayti will travel to Illinois and take on Quincy, Notre Dame. You're watching and listening to Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Just a couple of minutes remaining in the show. We'll come back and wrap it up after this commercial from the Cottages at Fairhaven.
Welcome to the Cottages at Fairhaven Cove. This resort spans 12 acres on a quiet cove on Table Rock Lake. You will feel right at home in one of the newly renovated cottages. Options include studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom units. These units have been beautifully redone from floor to ceiling and offer both comfort and style. Each cottage has a fully functional kitchen, deck, or balcony with incredible lake view and outdoor entertainment area complete with a grill. Whether a couple or family, the perfect space awaits you. RV parking at Fairhaven Cove is now available to all guests as well. This is an ideal spot for a weekend getaway or family reunions. 4 full hookup RV parking sites are offered. Each site is complete with a picnic table, grill, Wi-Fi, and digital TV upon request. All guests have access to the numerous amenities that Fairhaven Cove offers. 2 boat docks are available for use. You can take a dip in the lake, fish, or house your boat. Cape Fair, Missouri is not only a great location for boating and water sports, but is also known as the bass capital of the world. The calm waters of the cove is the perfect place to have your next adventure. The resort offers kayak and paddleboard rentals to guests. Life vests are always included. There is a playground for kids to enjoy and hiking trails to explore. An in-ground pool is sure to make a splash with guests of all ages. And what better way to end the day than around a fire? A large fire pit is available for s'mores, fun, and memories. These amenities and more will be sure to entertain you and your family. The Cottages of Fairhaven is on the quiet side of the lake, near Cape Fair Marina and Flat Creek Restaurant. A short drive will take you to Silver Dollar City, Branson Landing, the show boat Branson Belle, abundant shopping, shows, museums, and some of the best golf in the Midwest. Reach out to your host today to book your next vacation.
Back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com here on Friday Night Live. Guy Newcomb, the scoreboard guy, alongside just for a couple of more minutes. We've refreshed the page at scoreboardguy.net. This show in its entirety and the coaches' interviews and everything will be archived here later this evening and maybe go out again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Certainly glad to tune in, and as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. So here's Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Week 4 high school football scoreboard presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Doak Propane, the Bank of Billings, Labor's Local 663, Great Southern Bank from the Pizza Ranch studio. Games from last night. It was Agape over Missouri Military Academy 30-26. Jennings defeats Riverview Gardens 41-6. On the games tonight in 8-man football, Worth County over Albany 34-14. St. Paul Lutheran 58, Concordia 20. It was Lockwood over Greenfield 59-12. Drexel defeats Jasper 64-22. It was Stanberry over Knox County 72-38. Santa Fe defeats Norburn 38-26. North Shelby over Schuyler County 74-30. Bishop LeBlond defeats St. Joe Christian 66-12. Sweet Springs 50, Northwest 18. Here on page 1 is Adrian over Wellington Napoleon 28-6. Ashgrove defeats Pierce City 20-7. Centralia over Brookfield 42-8. Russellville defeats Carrollton 35-14. Kennett over Caruthersville 52-28. Marionville defeats Springfield Central 18-13. Charleston over Kelly 20-14. Crystal City defeats Confluence Prep 42-0. It was Midway over Crest Ridge 26-16. Diamond defeats Miller 38-22. Duchesne over Borgia 41-33. Fayette defeats Westrand 21-18. Gallatin over Polo 46-8. Harrisburg over Paris 36-0. Holden defeats Butler 30-28. St. Pius X over Jefferson Festus 27-12. East Buchanan 33, Lathrop 7. Mid Buchanan over Lawson. Mid Buchanan, I believe, over Lawson 35-0. Colcamp defeats Lone Jack 47-0. Maysville over South Harrison 27-6. Milan over Princeton 34-14. Monroe over South Shelby 46-8. Mark Twain defeats Montgomery County 50-18. North Callaway over Louisiana 30-12. North Platte over Penny 25-24. Brentwood defeats Orchard Farm 6-0. Trenton over Putnam County 42-20. Salisbury over Scotland County 48-7. Warsaw defeats Sherwood 26-6. Wright City over South Callaway 40-24. St. Dominic over Grandview 42-6. Thayer over Salem 28-6. Tipton over Slater 62-12. Bowling Green over Van Far 64-6. West Platte defeats Plattsburgh 48-0. Lincoln over Windsor 24-0. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks brings you page 2. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks sponsors our male and female athletes of the week. If you have a nomination, email Missouri Sports Network at gmail.com. Mount View Liberty over Ava 32-0. Blair Oaks over California 52-14. Cassville over East Newton 35-0. Herman defeats Cuba 62-22. Reed Spring over Hollister 34-14. Mountain Grove over Willow Springs 50-6. Logan Rogersville 26-8 over Mount Vernon. With St. Michael 35-0 over Pembroke Hill. Seneca defeats Lamar 36-33. Buffalo over Skyline 64-39. Aurora over Springfield Catholic 27-0. Stratford defeats Clever 57-0. Live for Life over TDW Prep 13-0. Perryville defeats Bayless 40-0. Laborers Local 663. Building Missouri State and Building Missouri State University. Benton over Kansas City Central 63-0. Booneville over Southern Boone 18-14. Central Park Hills over Cape Central 41-20. Cameron over Chillicothe 42-0. Hannibal shuts out Fulton 48-0. Cardinal Ritter over Helias 40-14. Lutheran North over Westminster Christian 73-0. Mexico over Marshall 35-14. Kirksville defeats Moberly 34-14. Odessa over Oak Grove 57-43. Valley Catholic 68, Potosi 13. Liberty over Roosevelt 63-8. Savannah 69-0 over Lafayette St. Joe. With St. Genevieve 44, Fredericktown 6. St. Clair over Sullivan 27-14. Carthage over Carl Junction 48-12. Center over Christ Prep, Kansas 42-6. Farmington over Sykeston 48-15. Harrisonville 28-24 over Warrensburg. Glendale defeats Hillcrest 60-22. Hillsborough over North County 31-10. Jeff City over Smith Cotton 42-27. Kearney defeats Excelsior Springs 44-6. Marshfield over Monette 34-24. Union defeats Pacific 52-14. Parkway West 28, McClure 8. Smithville over Ruskin 54-6. Slough over Vashon 43-15. Bank of Billings established in 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Here on page 6. Camden over Parkview 65-16. CBC 56-7 over Chaminade. Blue Springs defeats Fort Osage 34-32. Francis Howell over Francis Howell North 56-54. Holt over Fort Zumwalt South 42-0. Timberland defeats Fort Zumwalt West 59-56. Grain Valley over Platte County 24-14. Battle over Hickman 47-29. Jackson defeats Poplar Bluff 35-7. It was Joplin over Webb City 24-8. Kickapoo defeats Waynesville 35-8. Lafayette over Northwest 49-0. Eureka defeats Marquette 35-28. Seckman over Melville 58-7. Nixa defeats Branson 56-17. North Kansas City over Belton 23-3. Ladue over Oakville 34-13. Rockbridge comes back and defeats Capital City 35-28. Oak Park over Truman 48-6. Parkway South 33-10 over Webster Groves. Page 7. DeSmet over Vianney 56-7. Battle defeats Hickman 47-29. Lee Summit North over Lee Summit 38-16. It was Liberty North over Park Hill South 34-14. Pattonville defeats Lindbergh 29-17. Lindbergh undefeated up until tonight. Blue Springs South over Raypeck 52-34, and they are back. Bentonville, Arkansas defeats Rockhurst 30-7. Staley over Lee Summit West 42-20. Doak Propane brings you the Saturday games. Doak Propane for all your propane needs. Hey, it's still barbecue season. Trust me, I know. I've been out there doing it myself. Hey, have them fill up your grill. But hey, I think there's some early bird specials if you want to purchase your gas for the entire winter. I think you can do that now. Get a hold of Doak Propane for Polk County and surrounding counties for all your propane needs. See the folks at Doak. Saturday games. Windsor at Bishop DeBerg. Lebanon will take on Bolivar at SBU. Solon at Gateway. Afton at Hazelwood East. McClure North at Hazelwood West. Marceline at Hogan Prep. Lutheran South at John Burroughs, Pattonsburg at King City, Priory is at MICDS, University City is at Normandy, Father Tolton at Principia, and Hayti at Quincy, Notre Dame. Well, that'll wrap us up here at 11:01, and keep it right here at the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Good night. God bless.